But I had a very, very, very short stint when I was not racing motorbikes, but I had a couple of super bikes. I had a GSX-R K2.
Nice.
Came off in 2005, split my kidney open.
Oh shit!
Was
On
in
the
hospital,
road.
On the road. Yeah.
I'm going through a big bike phase at the minute.
Horrible.
I've got like too many bikes.
I could see on your
I was
Instagram.
on a track day last night on my Ducati.
Then I got a GSX-R, R6, Yamaha R6, and just completely tuned it up with like quick shift and digital dash, etc. And then I took it to a track, and I realised a couple of things. I'm totally underappreciated how fit you need to be doing it. It is so difficult. I remember hearing a guy who used to go in my school, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's just, you just race around the track. It's easy." And when I'd done a few laps, the achiness in how tense my legs got was totally crazy. But also at the same time, I realised that these other people that were flying around this track, and some of them were a little, even a bit overweight, but they were phenomenal on this bike. I realised how nuts they are. They are absolutely fearless, these people. And my question to you is, do you have to be a bit nuts to become a racing car driver?
You do, I think, have to have something. And I've always wondered this because, in the racing I do the Nitro Rallycross, if you see videos of it, we're doing 120-foot gap jumps at 100 mile an hour in cars, which are not really designed to go that far in the air, turn it into a plane for a few seconds. And the same with bikes. And like last night, flat out on a Ducati around Brands Hatch with limited talent. So the thing I think for me is adrenaline is a funny sort of thing in your brain. And I think it takes people that are sort of elite at motorsport, I think it takes a lot to jack your brain to get a lot of adrenaline. So I think we end up doing these quite risky, quite mad looking things to other people. I mean, skydivers are probably the same. People who get in the ring over and over again, probably the same. That, that height you get. And I think it just takes longer and longer for you to get that rush and get to that high. And then you end up doing crazier things, going faster, buying faster bikes, cars, doing jumps in cars, all this sort of thing, really. So that's how I think it tends to go, or at least it did for me.
Yeah. I know it's going to be a little bit, not rich, but for me to say this, because obviously doing boxing, and you only have to type into Google the amount of people that do die from combat sports or definitely get serious life-changing injuries.
Concussions and stuff.
There's so many. And even the long-term ones where you don't see it at the start, but then later on in life you see it. I mean, Muhammad Ali was a clear example of that, probably from his boxing career.
Of course.
But, doing a bit of research earlier, like deaths and crashes within motorsports. I think that probably the most famous one was 1994. I can't always pronounce his name right. Is it Ayrton
Senna?
Yeah, that's it. 1994, crashed into a wall, died. Obviously, a very, very successful Brazilian racing car driver. MotoGP, there was one actually in the last few years, a guy called Jason Duspora. A guy from, I think it's Norway or something like that, died. But then even more recent, a guy called Craig Breen, I think he actually was racing Fiestas.
Yeah.
In April 2023, lost his life as well. And do you ever think about, like, you could crash one day and kill yourself?
Yeah, and it's interesting. I know Craig and funny Chris, who races in my team, is currently driving Craig's old car. Is a tribute race this weekend. He's in P1 at the minute. So, yeah, I mean, we're always close to that. You sign your waivers before you go on track and everything. But everything's done in a way to make it safe. You got roll cages, harnesses. It is safe is the strange thing, I think. There is risks with anything. I would say, for me, like combat sports or something would be more dangerous to me than what I would do. Because you're getting direct head impact. For us to get direct problems, there'd have to be something quite serious go wrong. And I found a lot of the things you find with racing drivers. Ken Block was one this year who passed away, a famous race car driver. He made the amazing Gymkhana series, and he unfortunately lost his life this year in a ski-mobile accident. And there's been others, countless ones. Conor McRae, another famous one, unfortunately crashed a helicopter outside of a race weekend. And then I think it goes back to probably what more you get more from racing drivers is because of that adrenaline thing. You go and do a hobby that's not so safe in terms of it's not regulated or something like ski-doos, helicopters, random things, and you end up losing your life that way because you take those same risks, those same limits to something else. It's not quite so constrained in that sort of thing. So I don't think of the danger too much with the racing, but like anything you do in life, isn't it? If you're going to take a bit of risk and have a bit of fun, there's always going to be a downside, you know, to some extent. But I always live my life. You could walk out here today and something could happen, and there you go. So as long as you're enjoying it and taking precautions, what more can you do?